शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। Namaste. We will see the meanings of the namas of Shri Vishnu Sahasranama, verse 47, based on Shri Shankaracharya Bhashya. First, the verses. अनिर्विण्णस्थविष्ठो भूर्धर्मयूपो महामखः नक्षत्रनेमिर्नक्षत्री क्षमः क्षामः समीहनः. The namas herein are Anirvinnaha, Sthavishthaha, Abhuhu or Bhuhu, Dharmayupaha, Mahamakhaha, Nakshatranemihi, Nakshatri, Kshamaha, Kshamaha, Samihanaha. There are 10 namas herein. We will see the meanings of each of these. First is Anirvinnaha. Aptakamatvat nirvedosya na vidyata iti. Being in the state of contentment, always the one who is never dejected. So anirvinnaha. Nirvinna means dejection or dejected. Anirvinnaha is the one who is not dejected. So how does dejection come about? Dejection comes when there is expectation. So for a person who is always contented, one who is always established in his blissful pure nature, or at least who has a content nature, there will be no dejection. So the Paramatman, being always established in his pure nature, being content always, in that sense, he is Anirvinnaha, the one who is free from any dejections. Anirvinnaha. The next nama is Sthavishtaha, Vairaja Rupena Sthitaha, the one who is established in the form of Virat. So Sthavishtaha means the manifest. So which aspect of manifestation is here celebrated as the Paramatman? Vairaja Rupena Sthitaha, the one who is established in the form of Virat. So what is the meaning of Virat? All created entities, if they are considered as one being, one Virat, one Purusha, then that is called as Virat. So the sum total of all that has manifested in this universe, if they are put together as one entity, then that one entity which is considered in itself as a being, so that is called as Virat. So Virat Rupena Sthitaha, Vairaja Rupena Sthitaha, which indicates that the one who exists in each and every speck or atom of this manifest universe. So to this we see a quotation being provided by Acharya from the Mundakopanishad, where he says Agnir Murdha Chakshushi Chandra Suryau. So the Agni, the Chandra, the Surya are all the limbs. Agni is the head, the Chandra and the Surya are the eyes. In this form, in this nature, all the created aspects of this universe are parts or limbs of that one Purusha. So that Purusha is indicated by this term Sthavishtaha, Virat Purusha. The next term is divided or is split both as Abhuhu and bhuhu also, which is a grammatical possibility. So interpretation to both the forms are given by the commentator. First, abhuhu, ajanma abhuhu, the one who is never born. So abhuhu, bhavati, born, janma, so the one who has janma is bhu. So abhu, the one who is never born, means the one who always exists and will always exist. So abhuhu, the birthless, the beginningless, eternal entity, abhuhu. If it is considered as bhuhu, then athava bhavati iti bhuhu mahi va. So bhuhu means bhavati, that which is manifest, that which is created. So what exactly or what specifically by convention is indicated by bhuhu? Mahi va. So mahi, mahi is earth. So the earth, which is the basis of the various life forms, that is bhuhu, that is paramatman, a special manifestation of paramatman. So if we take the word as bhuhu, then bhuhu is mahi, that is earth, and then so that manifestation of paramatman in the form of earth is indicated by the term bhuhu. Or if the term is taken as abhuhu, which is also a grammatical possibility, then that indicates the birthless, beginningless, anadi paramatman. The next term is dharma yupaha. Yupe pashuvat tat samaradhanatmakaha dharmaha tatra badhyante iti. Like an animal to the sacrificial post, the one to whom all the dharmas, duties, actions are tied to as an offering. So he is dharma yupaha. So here the term dharma yupaha has two components, dharma and yupa. So yupa refers to a sacrificial post. So in yajnas, in the performance of yajnas, there will be a yupastambha, a post. So in that, the animals or the pranis that are to be offered to the divinity will be tied in ancient times. So, so what are the things which are offered? Whatever is being offered will be tied to that post. So similarly, so here that is the meaning of the term yupa, and then we have the term dharma. So in the context of the Paramatman, so the Paramatman is the sacrificial post to which all the dharmas that we perform are tied to. So that is dharma yupaha. So tat samaradhanatmakaha dharmaha tatra badhyante. Whatever dharma, whatever uh, responsibilities, whatever duties that we perform, so all that is tied or offered to the Upastambha, and that Upastambha is none other than the Paramatman. So to understand this term, so we have to get into that Vedic context where yajnas were performed, where the offerings of pashus were made. In the process of offering the pashus or animals, they were tied to a sacrificial post, and the worship of the post will happen. So that has been long discontinued, but the example of it, or the context of that yajna, or the based on the memory of the past ritual, so this term has been uh, brought about in the Sahasranama, where the Paramatman is described as the Yupa, where all our dharmas are tied to, where all our dharmas are being offered to. So in that sense, the Paramatman is the Dharma Yupa. The next term is Mahamakhaha. Yasminnarpitaha makhaha yajnaha nirvana lakshana phalam prayachanto mahanto jayante saha. The yajnas, when offered to whom, result in great outcome of liberation. So here the term has two components, Maha, Makha. Makha means yajna, ritual, yaga, and Maha, great yaga. So these are the two components. So in the context, of the Sahasranama, we see that when the makhas or yajnas are performed as an offering to the Paramatman with an Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, with a Nishkama Bhava, when actions are performed with that selfless way as a total offering to the divinity without attaching any desires, then the normal makha becomes a maha makha. So actions, when done with an outcome in the mind, with a desire or an attachment towards it, may result in the desired outcome or may not. But when the same actions, when they are performed as an offering to the divinity, then it gives a great level of balanced state of mind. And we are also blessed by chitta shuddhi, purity of the mind, by the Paramatman. And hence, normal actions become maha, makhas, when this attitude of nishkama bhava, so being devoid of too much of an attachment, so that attitude is developed, then it becomes mahamaka. Ultimately, here Acharya says nirvana lakshana phalam. Ultimately, the great goal or great benefit of, or the great fruit of moksha itself is granted when this attitude of offering towards offering all our actions to the divinity is nurtured. The next term is nakshatra nemihi. Saha jyotisham chakram brahmayan तारामयस्य शिशुमारस्य पुच्छदेशे व्यवस्थितो ध्रुवः तस्य शिशुमारस्य हृदये ज्योतिश्चक्रस्य नेमिवत् प्रवर्तकः स्थितः विष्णुरिति नक्षत्रनेमिः. There is a luminous constellation in the northern direction called Shishumara, Ursa Minor, the one in the form of Dhruva, who, being established in the tail of it, rotates it. The constellation revolves around it. It is Lord Vishnu who is at the center of the constellation, like the axle to the wheel, who makes the orb of luminosity rotate. So here the term is nakshatra nemi. So a lot of astronomical references are given here. So nemi refers to axle or the central part of the wheel, and he is the axle to what? The nakshatras, all the stars that keep revolving. So this itself is a great indication that the Vedic ancestors have absorbed the astronomical phenomenons in a beautiful manner. So here much more the commentator offers more description about this aspect. Here Acharya says that the Dhruva Nakshatra or the pole star is described as the Nemi or the center around which a particular constellation called as Shishumara. So Ursa Minor is what is the current terminology in English. It is used. So to that, the Sanskrita term is Shishumara. So Shishumara is an alligator. So uh, the mm, in the current day we see it as a small bear form, but it was seen in the Vedic times in the form of an alligator which a long tail. So that Ursa Minor, at the tail portion of it, is the star, the Dhruva Nakshatra, the pole star. So if one observes that constellation, one can see that the entire Shishumara revolves around the tail star. So the North Pole star is at the is though in the shape of the alligator, though it is in the tail, but the entire constellation revolves around that point in the tail or the star in the tail, which is called as the Dhruva Nakshatra. And so that Dhruva Nakshatra is none other than Vishnu. So Shishumarasya Hridaye Jyotish-chakrasya Nemivat Pravartakaha. So Hridaye means as a pivot, as an axle, as a center. So around that tail portion where the Dhruva Nakshatra is situated, so it is around that the entire constellation goes around, and that Dhruva Nakshatra is none other than Lord Vishnu. So for this also a Vedic quotation from the Swadhyaya Brahmana of Taittiriya Shakha is brought about by Acharya when he says, in Shishumara Varnane Vishnur Hridayam iti Swadhyaya Brahmane Shruyate Vishnur Hridayam. So Vishnu is the Hridayam of that Shishumara constellation. So in that Ursa Minor constellation, the central star around which the entire constellation which goes around, what is that central star? That is Dhruva Nakshatra, the pole star, and that is the Hridayam of that constellation. And what is that Hridayam in turn indicate? Vishnu. So the North Pole star as such indicates the Dhruva, who was a great devotee. It also is a central star that never moves around, thereby indicating the unchanging nature of the Paramatman, Lord Vishnu. So in that sense, a Paramatma here, Lord Narayana, is described as Nakshatra Nemihi. The next nama is Nakshatri. Chandra Rupena Nakshatri. In the form of the moon, the lord of the stars. So Nakshatri. So Nakshatrani Asya Santitiva Nakshatri means the one to whom, the one who possesses the nakshatras or the lord of the nakshatras is Nakshatri. See, Dhana and Dhani means Dhana is wealth, the one who has it or the one who is the lord of wealth is Dhani. Similarly, Nakshatra and Nakshatri. So, Nakshatras, the stars are there. The lord of the nakshatra is the moon. Why is the moon called as the lord of the stars? Because in the night sky, the brightest luminous object is the moon, and the stars are lesser in luminosity, and hence the moon is rightly called as the Nakshatri. So the lord of the stars. So that Chandra is also Bhagavan Narayana. Nakshatranam aham shashi. So iti Bhagavad Vachanat. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord himself, Krishna himself says, among the stars, I am the moon. So in the night sky, there are lots of stars. But what is the most luminous entity. So there are, in the night sky, there are so many innumerable luminous entities which are predominantly stars. But among them, among those luminous entities that are present in the night sky, who am I? I am the moon, the most brightest luminous entity, who is the lord of the stars. The next term is Kshamaha. There are a couple of interpretations to this term. Samasta karyeshu samarthaha. The one who is capable in all works. So the word Kshama itself means capable. So where is the Paramatman capable? In all works. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Dushta Nigraha, Shishta Paripalana. In all these works, no one is more capable than Paramatman, and hence he is Kshamaha. Kshamate iti va. Second interpretation. The one who has great forbearance. The one who has great patience. He is Kshamaha. So we have seen in the Bhagavata Purana, we see in the Bhagavata Purana, in the case of Shishupala, Krishna gave a unthinkable, took up an unthinkable vow. He said that I will forgive 100 mistakes, 100 insults done to me by Shishupala. In the normal life, can anyone imagine even a light, a little slighting by anyone, or a light insult by anyone will be taken very seriously? That will create a lot of mental affliction, stress, tension. So, but Bhagavan, he said, I will forgive 100 mistakes or 100 insults. I can withstand 100 insults from Shishupala. So in that sense, he is Kshamaha, the one who is endowed with great forbearance, great patience. And in other sense also, right at the nick of the war, Arjuna started his instability, or rather tantrums. So he had, with great kshama, with great patience, great forbearance, he absorbed all the troubles or mental afflictions and then gave Arjuna the right guidance. In that sense also, with great patience, the Lord managed, guided Arjuna and led to the glory of Dharma. Kshamaya Prithvi Samaha iti Valmiki Vachanat. So even in Valmiki Ramayana, we see Rama being glorified as patient as the earth. Kshamaya Prithvi Samaha. Rama, Krishna, all are nothing but the manifestations or avatars or incarnations of the same Lord Narayana. The next term is Kshamaha. Sarva vikareshu kshapiteshu swatmanavasthitaha iti. When all the created entities decay, wear out, the one who is established in his true nature, he is Kshamaha. So normally the term Kshama refers to uh, drought, where there is no rain, everything has dried out and everything is withered. So in the sense of, in the context of the Paramatman, we see that everything other than him, everything other than him which is manifest, so they decay and wither out. Sarveshu sarva vikareshu kshapiteshu. So when every other vikara attain kshaya, so kshaya is this term kshama is derived from the term kshaya. So when everything attains kshaya, the one who does not attain kshaya is kshama. So being connected with the universe, all that has manifested, they attain kshaya, but he, in his unchanging pure conscious nature, he does not attain any kshaya. So he is described as the decayless, unchanging, pure consciousness. Kshamaha. The 10th term is Samihanaha. Srishtyadyartham Samyagihata iti. The one who perseveres well for creation, etc. So Samihanaha. Samyak ihate iti samihanaha. Ihate means the one who works, the one who acts, the one who diligently performs actions is ihate. And samyak, very well, very systematically, without any flaw. So the one who diligently, systematically works continuously without rest, he is samihanaha. Why does he work? He work for srishtyadyartham. Srishti, sthiti, samhara. So whenever and however they have to happen, they are caused, they happen in this universe. That is because of the tireless perseverance or tireless action of the Paramatman, and hence he is described as Samihanaha. So with these 10 namas in verse 47, we have thus seen 444 namas. Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishnarpanamastu.